episode 4. I thought it was really cool. That's when she really breaks through and she comes out and she confronts everybody who's trying to burst into her reality, because we get the voice on the radio who was back in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Found out that was like Jimmy trying to get in and like say like, who's doing this to you, what is doing this to you, Wanda, on the radio, which was really cool. And
Oh
so it's
yeah.
basically like all these little details are like these outside forces kind of penetrating into
Trying to break her
her world,
illusions and break that. Yeah.
trying to break that barrier. And I guess it's kind of like real life too. Like, how many times are you like sitting reading in your book and then someone comes in and says something to you about like going to work or something?
Oh yeah, and then reality seeps in and you're like, oh, I can't read anymore. I have to go to work or something like that.
Yeah, like, okay, I have to pause the movie. Like, and so yeah, I felt like that's why I feel like we loved and we connected so much with this kind of show, because it's so real. Even though it's fake, because it's like these sitcoms, there's so many real elements to it and so
Mm-hmm.
many real themes that you could just, as viewers, we all relate to. I mean, all of us, we're all big Marvel fans. We're all Marvel fans. This Marvel in general is like an escape as well.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
we're all like watching this show, like, like, I think that form was just so good. And yeah, there were some quotes that she says where she's like, we can go wherever we want, because she's literally controlling everything. Like, she could change everything as much as she wants.
Mm-hmm. I
um
thought it was so cool. I would love to have that power.
It's so cool. Like, that's why, like, I literally, like, and then I was watching, like, so many fan videos, like, edits and stuff of her, and I'm just like, she is such a cool character. Like, she is so awesome. Like, and then, you know, I don't want to jump ahead, but we're big Star Wars fans as well, and I was actually seeing some parallels to like Anakin in this, because I feel like they're both two characters who have lost someone that they love very much, and they turn to the dark side and they let this darkness kind of consume them, where they're able to manipulate things to how they want to try or whatever. Like, we see with Darth Vader how he kind of becomes a slave to like Sidious, like kind of like that. But in a way, Wanda became a slave to her reality, because she depended on everybody to play along with her. And yeah, I don't know, they kind of both have like that arc, that villainous arc that like I love.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Oh yeah.
um that, like, losing someone so much that you love, like your ship, and then just becoming a villain kind of character from it. And then what you become at the end of that, like how Anakin obviously does get redeemed in Return of the Jedi, and hopefully we'll see, we did see in the show Wanda redeem herself in that way too. So like, I think it's like the same arc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That might have just been me thinking too much.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I really liked in episode 7 how it reminded me of The Office, the way that it was
Oh
filmed.
yeah.
There was like the interviews and like the looks into the camera, like focusing on like the faces.
Yes,
I
it was
thought that was really cool.
very like The Office, like Modern Family type of
Uh-huh.
vibes. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really. Um. Yeah, then that's when we're in. Well, and then episode 5 goes to the 80s, which is, I guess, that Full House theme that they had going, like Growing Pains. They kind of brought in
It reminded me of Growing Pains,
the theme
the
song.
theme song, yeah, how it like showed the portraits.
Yes. Um.
That's really episode 2 where we get Vision starting to really see that something's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's when Vision starts to kind of catch on to what is happening here. Why are the kids growing up so fast?
Mhm.
What is going
Yeah,
on?
he starts asking questions, and Wanda is still in that anger phase. So every time he asks questions, she's just kind of
Wanda's
like
just,
yelling. Like we have that one scene where like they both like float up.
oh my God, that was so
That
cool.
was cool.
Yeah, but she's like, Wanda's a very, I feel like Wanda's like, I have everything under control. Like, I am controlling this. And I think that that's also a huge part of grief. Like, you want to do things that you can control.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, death is not something that we can control. So I think Wanda mentally having that control on everything was also
Trying
really,
to hold on to that, yeah.
yeah, like being able, like I think control in general is another like huge theme in this because she's trying to control her reality when she can't. And that's something like as humans that people struggle with too, is like there's a lot of people out there who want to control everything because it's easier that way. It's easier if I am able to control when things happen and not like understand that you have to let go and let
You
life
can't
do its
always control
thing.
everything in your life, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like this one scene, I think it might have been 5 when she comes out and she really yells at them all and she's like, "You're not taking him from me ever again." And she doesn't really like hurt them like that, but she kind of warns them like, "Don't bother me, like leave me
Mhm.
to this." And I just like watched that and all I just kept thinking was like, this is grief. Like this is so heavily grief of not wanting to accept that someone you love is dead and
Mhm.
that you are just in this, you're it was just grief, like the way that she was yelling. And I feel like that's such a huge thing, like when she like for this, like she is such a great actress that like when she yells and her powers come out, like you would just feel the pain in that.
Mhm. Oh yeah, definitely.
People in the town were starting to get it and we're kind of like, you need to make her stop, you need to make her stop, she's doing this, none of this
Mhm.
is my own, make it stop. And then he like snaps back, like that was really cool. Yeah, and then not Vision kind of starts to realize that things are not what they seem when when he is confronted with like the guy that he works with, how he is able to snap out of it for a second and he's just like, make her stop, like none of this is my own, like what is happening? And
Mhm.
then Vision is just like, what are you talking about? Like what is going on? And then it's really eerie. He snaps back into like the sitcom world and he starts like smiling and laughing and totally forgets that he just had like a moment of panic. And I
Mhm.
think yeah, that was just like really creepy to watch. Like I don't know, it was just very surreal because that's when you kind of realize like, oh my god, all of these people around her have literally no control of how they're acting either. Like she is controlling all of these people inside of their bubble.
Oh yeah, she took the control away from everybody.
Yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
only one who can like decide what is gonna happen.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's when you kind of realize like the entire town is just being held hostage. And they also like Sword, the people that are trying to get her out also realize that too and they try to talk her down and there's no talking her down because she's just so consumed with grief. And that's such a real thing. Like when someone is filled with grief, you just got to ride it out. Like you just it's very hard to break through to somebody who's in that mindset and for them to process it in their own time. It's very real. I really love the real themes of it. And I was thinking like I said that I was like, it's really interesting how Marvel decided to release it like now in 2021 when the way that the world is there are so many people dealing with grief and dealing with so many themes that are happening on the show, like resonating with them, that I really like there's like a conversation that like we'll talk about, but it's literally one of like my favorite conversations in Marvel. It's one of like the best lines when they have the conversation about grief and Vision says, "What is grief if not love persevering?" Like that line was
Oh yes.
just
Mhm.
beautiful and it's so great, that conversation, the way that it just sums up grief in general. Like that's literally what it is. How Wanda's like, this is just going to consume me. Like I'm drowning. Like I can't get through this. And Vision is able to put such an innocent twist on everything, on grief in general, because he's such an innocent character. He's has the mentality, he's a robot. Like he's has the mentality of a child, kind of like there's an innocence to him that's just so raw in that scene. And he's just like, I've never lost anybody. So I don't know what you're going through, but doesn't that mean that you have, like, you've loved someone? So isn't that what grief is? It's just love.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, I feel like I needed to hear that. And I feel like there are so many people who are dealing with grief and have dealt with grief that just connect so much to that line, and just that conversation in general was just beautifully written.
Yeah, that was a great conversation.
And it's the only time that that's the real Vision, because the Vision that we see most of the show is the one that she created in her mind. And
That's
then
very true.
and you see like the white Vision that comes in, but the real Vision is only the one that she sees in that flashback with Agatha where they have that conversation.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I know. Okay, how did you feel about it being Agatha all along?
I was surprised. I was surprised. I really was. Because she was like the typical neighbor who was just like annoying and
Yeah.
just like that, just that neighbor, kind of like the Kimmy Gibbler, where
Yes.
she's just there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised.
I loved the song. I thought the song was so great. It was stuck in my head. It's been stuck in my head, the Agatha All Along song.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I love like the little like music video that you get of her when she's just like all along. And then at the end when she was like, and I killed Sparky too. And I was just like,
I know. I was upset with that whole thing.
I was like, she's the one that killed the dog. Like, this woman is evil. I love the way that that was set up, and
Yeah, that was great.
how it was the whole. We'll see her again. Absolutely. I think we're going to see her again.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think she'll be back. She's a cool villain.
Hmm.
Um,
I really like that the episode after that when we realized that it was her, how we get some flashbacks of her actually like the whole like witch, and when she's like on the stake, we get that.
yeah,
We
that was
also
cool.
get the flashbacks with Wanda and her parents, and we learn more about that and like like the explosion and how like the TV was on, and that was like the last thing they were doing was watching that show.
Think that, we kind of we hear about it in Age of Ultron, but when you actually like see the way that there's are two innocent children, like her brother, and there's like this innocence of watching TV with your parents, having a nice family night, and then just all hell breaking loose. And we see that the Stark label right there, and you just see it, and it's so terrifying. And now she says that she was like, we were there for 2 days, like underneath all that debris, and it's so heartbreaking, and it's very hard to watch. Like, I was watching that and I was just like so my like, just to say it was just really, really sad. But I think it was definitely like needed, because you need to understand her trauma and how she literally lost her parents in such a traumatic way as a child. Then she loses her brother like right in front of her, and then she loses Vision, and the amount of grief that she's gone through, it's terrible. It's terrifying too, because they were like experimenting on her, like when her and her brother, and it's just like she went through a lot, like her trauma. And I think all of that piled up to the point where she literally could not deal with it, and that's why she invented her own world. She was like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm making my own shit up. Like, I'm not doing like
literally.
like, I think it's more in episode 5, but when Vision does find out, that's when you also see another division between reality versus like fantasy, kind of, because they have like the credits rolling at the end of like the episode of the sitcom, and then like Vision and Wanda like step into the other room away from the credits rolling, and then that's when they start like arguing like what is happening here. And then that's when we really see a huge twist from what we've been seeing, because like normally it's like, oh, the credits roll, everything's happy go lucky, everything's fine, we'll see you in the next episode. But like in this one, it was like, no, the credits rolled and that's when real life hit. Like that's when, which is
Mhm.
true. Like a lot of times
That's
when,
when like the shoe dropped.
exactly. And I thought that was a really cool like visual effect, like showing like, oh, the end of like this happy sitcom episode, but guys, this is what's really going on.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I just love the way like the story was being told too, like camera angles, how like when we were in like a sitcom, it would kind of go like smaller, and then when we were in the real life, it would like expand, kind of
Like the focus of it, yeah.
yeah, and like kind of expanding our minds too as we watch it. Like I think that's kind of like what the camera angles were. Obviously, it was showing like a division between like reality and fake, like fantasy. But I think it was also showing us like this is the larger picture of what is actually happening, you
There's
guys.
more out there, yeah, than just what is in that little bubble that she's created.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really interesting how they brought in her brother, who she like they were like, oh, she recasted her brother.
Oh, Pedro?
Pietro, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And oh my god, it was Evan Peters. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought the Halloween episode was really cool. How the costumes that they're wearing are the costumes that they wear in the comics. So I thought that was a really cool way of
Mhm.
like showing the like kind of like paying tribute to the comic story. I thought that was really cool. And then episode 6, I thought that was really cool how we have Agnes in the car and she sees Vision and she's like, "Oh, you're one of the Avengers. You're here to help us." And
Mhm.
he was like, I have no clue like what you're talking about. And then that's I think when it hit for me, like, oh my God, this Vision has no memory of being an Avenger. Like he has no idea of Infinity. He doesn't know what happened in Infinity War to him. Like he doesn't know where he's from. Like he doesn't know about like Tony and Bruce. Like I thought that was a real that was like another wake up call kind of when you
Yeah, that was shocking to hear.
yeah, that he I didn't catch that threat. I would figured like his I for some reason figured like his memories were being controlled also. Like they were kind of being like suppressed to fit into her reality.
Mhm.
But that's when I was like, "Oh my god, like you don't know about the Avengers?" Oh my god, that was when Vision tries to leave her reality and he tries to leave and he's like trapped inside of it. He was like half in and half out. And that's when you're
She
kind of
ends up pushing the whole wall.
yeah,
She's still trying to keep
she
the
builds
whole
a circus.
facade.
She
What?
builds she turns it into a circus.
Yeah, well, that's after, but she like pushes the wall back.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
they're all like clowns running around everywhere. And I was like, "Oh my god, is she trying to like represent like everybody who's been trying to guess like the Marvels like everybody's like a clown trying to figure out what's going on." Funny how Darcy was explaining like the cliff notes, like the spark notes of Infinity War to Vision, like letting him know like guys, like this is what happened. You're supposed to actually be dead, but you're not.
Mhm.
I thought that was really cool. And then you see there's a really cool fight happening with Wanda versus Monica, which I thought was really cool. I think Monica is going to end up being her friend eventually because they both have like they both understand grief. And like that's what Monica kept saying. She's like, no, like I understand where you're coming from. Like I lost my parents. I would do the same thing. When I really liked when Monica and Wanda, when they had that conversation, um, she was like don't let this world like make you a villain. And then that's when Wanda was like maybe I already am, because I think that's when she kind of understood what she was doing to the town. But at
Mhm.
that point she was just so like overcome that she also felt guilty for what she did. But I think she was going through so many different emotions all at once that it was really hard for her to try to process everything together.
Oh yeah, you even see um how she was like bargaining in that way.
Yeah.
Um where she was like, "Oh no, you're all at peace,"
Yeah.
like to the people,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
trying to convince herself that like what she's doing is okay.
She's like, guys, we're happy. Like, this is a happy world that I
Yeah.
created. Everything is fine. Why do you want to go? She's kind of like, why does everybody want to go back to their real lives where things are harder? It's happy here. It's a sitcom.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that's something that I really loved about the show, how it was very gray. Like, it wasn't things weren't just black and white, even though as a sitcom things are like black and white. But
Right.
it was a very gray show. Like there
Mhm.
were like so many like because if you think about what she did is really fucked up, but it's also really understandable, and that's why I loved it so much, and I was able to connect so much with Wanda, like even if she's like the villain in like a Doctor Strange too, because a lot of people are theorizing that she's going to be the villain, because I think that the book that she's reading is dark magic at the very end, so people are saying she's going to be the villain and Doctor Strange is going to go like up against her or something, and I'm just kind of like, even if she's a villain, like I'm gonna understand where she's coming from and probably gonna root for her because I feel so bad for
I
her.
know, right? I feel like even though she's doing wrong, we'll be like, no, I know why she is. It's
Listen, I
okay.
get it. I feel her pain. It's fine. um, yeah, and you really find out like when she goes like room to room and she's with Agatha, and we see what ended up happening after Endgame when she wants to give Vision a funeral. She's like, no, like let me get his body. I want to bury him and give him a memorial because he meant something to her. And so when they go to try to, when she goes to try, like, it's kind of like, no, he belongs to us now. What are you talking about? Like, and
Mhm.
I felt so bad for her at that scene. And then when she like broke through the glass to go down to like his body, and I was
He
just
was
like,
already like gone completely.
oh my God. Like, I was like, no, they broke him apart. Like,
Mhm.
I was really sad about that because he was like a robot, but like the Mind Stone made him human. And
Mhm.
um yeah, that was just really sad. And then she puts her hand on him and she's just like, I can't feel you. And I was like crying because then when you go through like Infinity War and she's like, oh, I just feel you. And then when he like is gonna die, he's like, I feel you. And then for her to like say, like for it to go like full circle and it's like, I can't feel you anymore because you're not here anymore. Like,
A lot of pain. Lots of pain with this show.
I think he's gonna come back, and I'm gonna tell you why. He's gonna come back because we have that White Vision who was able to get all the memories and then flew
Yes.
away. Like, where did he go? He's gonna
I
come.
really liked in the finale, I really liked the fight scene between Vision and White Vision. It
Yeah,
reminded me very like Superman like.
yeah, it was very much
They
like
were
that.
up like flying and fighting. It was very Superman.
It was really cool, and I love that idea of like fighting like against yourself too.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of like literally like a huge metaphor of what Wanda is going through. Like she's fighting against herself too,
Hmm.
mentally. And then we're seeing like a physical fight with Vision and White Vision. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought he gets the memories, right? And then he flies away. Like he's gonna come back, but the problem is he doesn't have a mind stone. So even though he has these memories, he has no emotions towards them or any connection. And I don't think we're gonna
Yeah.
find another mind stone
But
because
I feel like the fact that he flew away, like we're gonna see him again.
he'll be back. Absolutely,
Yeah.
he'll be back. They did not just build us a vision just to take him away. Like,
Unless maybe there's one us all to be sad.
and I think also the fact that the vision that it is a white vision, I think it's also kind of symbolic that he's white because white is purity and white is innocence and naivety, which is kind of um vision. Like his he was very wise. And I just recently like rewatching all the movies, he was like such a wise character for having not been there very long and having no like life experience, but he was just saw life in such a different way where he was able to connect and like have it make sense. And
Mhm.
I just I really loved him, and we will see him again. Like I'm like convinced like we will see him again. We have to.
Yeah, I really hope so. I think what was really sad was the line when he was like, "You are my sadness and my hope, but mostly you're my love."
I was very, very, very sad during so
That
many
was sad.
um oh my God, when she was like there was like that the finale was so crazy. Like I thought it was really cool how we had Agatha like trying to get her to give her powers when they were like flying around, and then she's like you're the Scarlet Witch. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god.
And then
And
she
then
had
like
the kids,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Oh my
Monica
god.
came in and saved them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
so
the
good.
finale was really crazy.
It was so good. Everything like came together and it was so
How like the
explosive.
protection spells on the wall too. She ended up like using that against her, and
Yeah.
like she
The
knew that because
runes.
yeah, the runes on like the walls.
It
Mhm.
was so cool, and I loved her outfit. I was like, "That's such a cool outfit!" Like, it was so badass, and
Oh my gosh, yeah, and she like fully embraced herself as the Scarlet Witch.
yeah, it was really cool. And
Mhm.
she still doesn't have control of her abilities to like that way. And I think that's when Doctor Strange is gonna come in and he might help her figure it out. Like he can help her work through it maybe. And
Mhm.
I think putting her in Doctor Strange is just gonna be perfect. And
I'm so excited for that.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be so cool. And I think like seeing this arc that she went on, it's just oh my god. And she's still going through it. And that's what's like so sad is like when she fully like the town, when all like the people kind of wake up and they start like surrounding her, like yelling and like chanting. And it was just so like that's when the gravity of what she did really hit her.
Mhm.
And I saw like somebody like commented and was like, it was like a comment on a video, and someone was like, you know, it's so sad how every single Avenger has such a sad story in a way. Like they have like a backstory that's so impactful, and that's probably why people connect so heavily to all like these heroes that you look up to and you want to be and you
They're
watch.
relatable, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just it's like that quote that's like, show me a hero and I'll write you a tragedy kind of quote.
Oh yeah.
Like it just kind of is like that for Wanda, I think, because she did the heroic thing at the end. She did the right thing where she let the
Mhm.
town go. But by doing that, she lost so much by doing the heroic thing and
Oh
redeeming her.
yeah. I that whole thing where like she's in the house with her kids and Vision, and she puts the kids to bed, and it's
Oh
so
my God.
sad because like you see it coming from the background, like
Yeah.
you know that like they're about to like everything's about to be like gone,
Yeah.
and
And then
oh,
she's like, family
it's
is
so
forever.
devastating.
She's like, family is forever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, family is forever. And there was like that scene before when she says everything's gonna be okay or something like that to Vision, and he was just like, just not for us, right? Or something like that. And it was just like so sad because he knew it too. And then
Mm-hmm.
she looks at her kids and she's like, thanks for letting me be your mom.
I
Like
know.
I was just like so sad because it's like everything that like she wanted is like she wanted to be a mother and have kids and have a life with Vision, and it was just really like heartbreaking when she says like thank you for letting me be your mom for the short amount of time that I got to be it. I did my best kind of thing. Like it was just really
Mhm.
really sad, and I think we're going to see those kids again at some point.
I think so too,
I think we're going to see the kids eventually at
especially
some.
because they're not fake. Like yes, they're part
Yeah.
of like this fake reality. Like they were still her like kids. Like she did
Yeah.
give birth to them. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we have to see them again.
Yeah, like they're still connected to like they're still like alive. That's they have to be
Somehow they're gonna have to be. I don't know how.
like somehow like in like the multiverse maybe. Like I don't
Mhm.
know, like something. Like they need to I think that we're going to see those kids again.
Yeah. Oh, and then we get the post credit scene at the end of the finale. We get the scene with like the Martian, like the alien coming to Monica,
Oh yeah, yeah.
one of like the Martian people from Captain Marvel
Yeah.
coming to Monica. So that was cool at
She'll
the
be in
end.
Captain Marvel 2. We'll see her in Captain Marvel 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I don't know, because what's so great about like the MCU is how everything is connected and everybody kind of floats in and out and goes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we're gonna like when you look at like the cast, it's kind of like, okay, like who's gonna be in what, like who we gonna say. Yeah, and then I just felt so bad for her during that post-credit scene at the end when you see how she ends up alone. Like
Mhm.
she's just alone in like this cabin and she's just still processing everything. And
Like, yes, she like accepted everything at the end,
mhm,
but she still went through so much. She ended up losing her kids and
yeah,
ended up losing Vision all over again. So, yeah.
it's a lot. Like I feel like the trauma now is probably like so much worse in a way
Exactly.
because now she was able to live in this
It
reality
was like
and
a tease. She only had it for a short amount of time, and then she had to lose what she
yeah,
really never had because it was really just this reality she created.
yeah,
And she ended up having to lose Vision again and lose the kids that she barely got to know. She only had them for a little while because they progressed their age so quickly. Like they
yeah.
were babies, and then they were 5 years old, and they were like kids, like
Hmm.
all in the span of a few episodes. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really
Very,
hard.
very sad things. Like
It's depressing.
very sad things. Like I just but I loved it so much. And I think like when you rewatch, like knowing what you know like, at the end, like this is a show that and it's a very short show. Like, you know, you watch it in a day, like it's almost like a movie, like all together. Like it feels very like it's just like a very easy binge. Like I would be able to sit many like multiple times and just sit and just consume it
I
all like
finished Wandavision in one day.
yeah, like in a few hours. It's
Hmm.
very short. Like that's why it feels like very movie like. Like even like when you like finish watching like all of like the movies, you go and you rewatch WandaVision because that's like it's just really cool to see to sit
Hmm.
and just watch it all like knowing what we know. And then I highly recommend going and just rewatching like all of the Avengers and just just consuming all of it because then everything hits you really like a lot harder when you watch WandaVision, and it's just really sad but really great.
I think we pretty much talked about everything. It was a lot. It's hard this video is so long, but we really enjoyed WandaVision. Obviously, we want to go rewatch it again. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below, what your favorite parts were. And yeah.
Yes, definitely. I feel like this is like one that we probably could have like broken up like into different parts, but we just wanted to just talk all about it and break everything down together.
Yes, because we're a little late on the WandaVision train, but we want to talk about it now. You guys to come talk with us about it. If you're looking for our Falcon and Winter Soldier video, that is coming soon.
Those will be weekly. Those will be weekly.
Yes, we will be putting those up, watching that weekly. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming very soon. Let us know all of that down in the comments below.
Thank you for
Thanks for
watching.
watching. Bye.